Hi, everybody. Good evening. So, welcome to Kenise's HR Corner again. So, last week you guys joined me for my first video. I did Pursuing the Career of Your Dreams, part one, and I'm going to continue that. But I will continue my talk in the Kenise's HR Corner today regarding getting the salary you want and deserve. So, again, just for those of you who are joining for the first time, I started out in human resources. I've been in human resources for the last over 20 years, working and building human resources departments from scratch for major nonprofits and for-profits in New York. Ranging from 100 employees to over 5,000 employees nationwide. So I've started their human resources department and built it from nothing, absolutely nothing. So everything to do with policies, procedures, handbook, employee relations, compensation, benefits, everything you can possibly imagine, that's what I've done. So I've decided that part of what I want to do is help those of you, and maybe a lot of teenagers have been sending me questions over the last week about, which career should they choose, how can they choose it, what's the best salary. So I want to help kind of both employers, new people that are looking for jobs, the younger ones, and even the ones that are in the middle of your career. So today I'm going to spend a few minutes about talking to you guys about getting the salary you want and deserve. So when we talk about a job, the first thing that comes to mind is the money. So obviously we're not working for free. I would love to work for free, but I'm not at that place as yet. But one day I will be, where I'm probably going to volunteer wherever I want to volunteer at no cost. But today, if you want to learn more about how to negotiate your salary, so I've been to 5 interviews in my career, and all of them I've negotiated my own salary. How did I learn those techniques? I don't really know, but they've all worked really well. So I want to share that with you. So the first thing you want to know is, like I said, when you start out with a career, or you go for any job interview and you're looking for a new job and you need a new job, a job sets up where you're going to live, how you're going to eat, what you wear, how you raise your family. It determines so many factors in your life, the job that you choose. And of course, the salary plays a big deal part of it. So today I'm going to give you guys a few tips about negotiating your salary. So, you should know your salary expectations before you even go into an interview. So before you even go into the interview, you want to make sure you research the company, you know the company very well. There's so much information out there about a company and the profitability of the company. Sometimes a nonprofit actually works with funding streams, so they get a particular funding from the government, whereas a for-profit company has a ton of money that they could be able to spend anyhow, anywhere. So you want to know your value, and you want to know what your salary expectations are. So for instance, and I'm going to use an example, I'm going to use a $50,000 salary. So if you're an administrative assistant working for a company and you're currently making $50,000 and you're looking for a new job, I would always say you want to increase your salary by another $10,000. Never go backwards. Never, 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 never. So you're not going to look for a job that's going to offer you a salary of less than $50,000. So you shouldn't go to 46. You shouldn't go to 45. You should always increase it. And the best time sometimes for people to make a lot of money is to move forward from job to job to job. But then you look like job hoppers. So I'm going to talk to you about settling and making sure that if you like a specific company that you want to work for, and then you want to negotiate the salary, you want to get the salary you deserve. So you want to know your value, and then you want to speak to your value. So employers typically ask when they're doing the phone screen with you, or when they call you and say, listen, I'm really interested in your resume. Thank you for submitting it. Now tell me what kind of salary you're looking for. Now that's a tough one, because you want to say, it's kind of open. I would throw it back and say to them, what's your range? What's the salary range that you're looking for? And sometimes the HR person or the manager that's on the phone would sometimes give you that information. I never give that information. I always push them to tell me, because then I try to lowball them on the salary. I know that's not always good, but that's my job, is to try to get the best person for the job at the lowest price. But I'm letting you know, so when you're looking for a job, you want to make sure that you know your value and you're able to name your price. So you want to ask them on the phone, hey, so tell me what's your range, and then you base it off of that range. So if you're currently making 50,000 as an administrative assistant, and you say, hey, before I come in for the interview, I just want to make sure we're not wasting each other's time. Tell me what's the salary range for the position. And if they say, well, the salary is between like 55 to 65, say, okay, well, I'm looking for like the mid 60s. So you're right in my range. So I really wouldn't call a number. I would kind of tell them, in that middle of that range, low to mid range. Employers usually ask that on the phone. They also ask that when you go in for the interview, and you also don't want to waste your time. So you want to make sure you talk about a little bit of a salary before you even go in for the interview. Sometimes some positions have the ad on their postings would have the salary range of the position. It's sometimes there to attract people. Again, you want to make sure that you ask for the salary before you go in. So now you're in, you love the job, you go in for the interview, you absolutely love it. Like, this is the job for you. So do you want to get a general sense, and you want to let them know how much money you're looking for. The first thing I want to say is don't respond right away. So if they say to you, you're currently making 50,000, how much are you looking to make? You want to tell them, well, I'm making $50,000, but with my benefits and what I'm getting from my other job with the paid time off, because that's all part of your compensation package. And I'll go through that a little bit later. So there's the difference between your salary and your compensation package. So here, right now, when people are looking for jobs, especially young kids, when they're coming out of college, and you want to know, you're not looking just for a salary, you're looking for the full compensation package. So you don't want to commit to anything. You never want to say, okay, well, 65 is what I want. If you're at 50, you don't want to commit to 65 because they probably could do 70,000. So you never want to commit. You want to talk about your current. You want to be honest with them, because an employer can actually find out. They can actually verify that. They can actually call the company that you're working for and verify your salary. So you never want to lie, obviously, about your salary and what you're making at your current job on the interview. But make certain that you distinguish to them. Say, my base salary is $50,000. And for those that you are joining, I'm using $50,000 as the example here. And then you want to talk about the base compensation. So you need to find out from you need to kind of do the math in your head. So I'm using an administrative assistant who's making $50,000, and she's working for ABC Company. ABC Company has medical, dental, vision, 401k with a match, maybe have dependent care, flexible spending, commuter benefits, all of these benefits in addition to pay time off. So ABC Company, which I'm currently working for, is giving me 3 weeks vacation every 12 months. When you add all of that up, that is your compensation package. That is how much you actually make. So you make 50,000. If you tap on to medical, and the company pays maybe 40% of your medical coverage for your family. Medical insurance is very, very expensive if you get it outside of an employer. So you want to tap on all of that, and then you want to say, my compensation package is X, Y, and Z, which is sometimes be 90,000. Some people don't add all of those things and play it into the role of your salary. But I'm going to talk about that a little bit more here. So the first thing you want to do is make sure you know the difference between your base salary and your compensation your compensation package before you go into the interview. 2, you want to do your research. So I'm using an administrative assistant as an example. So you want to know the job description. There's so many free websites that you can go to, and you want to research the job title. So you can go to websites, and I listed a few here: salary.com, payscale.com, jobstar.org, and a host of other ones. So you can actually Google the position, and you can actually Google administrative assistant New York. Put in your zip code as much in that Google search, and it will pull up salaries. You can put in salaries. It will pull up all the salaries in that specific zip code. It will tell you it'll tell you the low end, the median, and the high end. You want to stick to the median, because that's the average salary that it calculates for you. So you want to make sure that you go in knowing how much other people are making. And you can actually, I think on salary.com and pay scale, you can, it allows you to select if you're looking for a company of 100 people or more, 500 people. So it actually breaks it down even further for you. So one, you want to go in to negotiate for your salary to make sure you know your total compensation package. Two, you want to do your research. You want to know how much you're worth in the market, in the area that you live in, the zip code that you live in. You want to know what other people are making. Here in New York City, an administrative assistant, I would say with about 2, 3, 4 years for maybe a real estate company, a really top end company would make about $75,000, sometimes $95,000. The total compensation, they can probably make over $100,000, 6 figures. Number three, you want to figure out your ZOPA. So ZOPA, Z-O-P-A, and that's kind of like the term that I use. You want to know your zone of possible agreement. So you want to know that when you go in for an interview that you can come in some kind of agreement, especially if you really, really, really want to work for the company and you feel like it's a really great match. So you've met with the supervisor, you've met with the other staff, you've met with the HR people, whoever you're met with, you really want this job. It's a great career growth for you, and you want to match them with the salary. So when you're negotiating a position, you are the seller of your services and the company is the buyer of your services. Like other jobs you might accept or other candidates the employer might hire, there's a whole range of possible salary numbers that you can come up with. You want to be fair, you want to come up with a common ground. Remember that it's imperative to always keep a friendly tone, always be very nice and say, you know what, I really feel that based on my experience and what I bring to the table, this is what I'm currently making, which is at $50,000, and I'm looking to make between $60,000 and $65,000. And I've researched the market, and I've seen out there that based on this zip code, based on the size of your organization, you should be paying X amount. So what's your total compensation package? So you want to ask them for their medical package. You want to ask them for their dental package. You want to get all of those details before you actually make your decision. Because what you can then do is say if you're making $50,000 and they tell you we can't do anything more than $60,000, that's only a $5,000 increase. So this is when you say, okay, well, let me think about it. You take about 24 hours. Don't ever take longer than that because HR people hate to wait because they want to fill the position. And trust me, they have a stack of resumes this high to replace you. So I'm like, don't wait forever. So you want to take about 24 hours, get back to them and work out. So to ask them about, can they pay for your medical? So if they're not giving you full coverage, can they pay for it? If there is an employee contribution, ask them to pay for it. Ask them to pay for your dental. Ask them to pay for your vision. If you drive to work, ask them for a fuel reimbursement. Ask them for Easy Pass reimbursement. Ask them if you take the MTA. Tell them, can they pay for your MetroCard, your monthly MetroCard? Ask them if they give 2 weeks vacation. Say, can you tap on an additional week? Can I get 3 weeks of vacation instead? Ask them to work from home. So some people have an opportunity to telecommute, which is great. It's a great work-life balance. A lot of companies are doing it. If you can do that, you want to tap that on. So that's all now part of your compensation package. So you may leave one company for $50,000 and make $60,000, but instead they're paying your benefits. They're probably paying for your commuter benefits. They're probably paying for your MetroCard. They're probably paying for your monthly MetroCard. They're probably giving you money for your fuel. And they're probably giving you an extra week of vacation. All of those things are in your compensation package. So you want to tell them how excited you are. You want to run the numbers to make sure when you walk in that you know exactly what you want. So I want to say to and everyone looking out there, it's really hard. People are afraid to ask. And I know that. I can't tell you, working in human resources for over 20 years, how many times I usually have a position and we have a budget of like 90, 95,000 and the person is making 75, and I ask them, how much are you looking for? And they're scared to ask. I know they're scared to ask, and they are usually, well, I'll take the same salary, or I'll take a $5,000 increase. And I'm like, well, you just saved me some money. So you always want to make sure that you ask for the moon. What's the worst that can happen? You can still get something around the stars at least. So you want to keep in mind, base salary, compensation package. If you can't negotiate the salary and increase it, try to get free benefits. Try for them to pay for it, and then try to get paid time off. Try to get telecommuting, all of those things that I listed. I know that I like to tell them, kind of my wording that I use when I talk to employers when I have negotiated salary is I usually say, and I quote, and I wrote this down, I usually say, hey, hi employer, I know that you've had the opportunity to review many resumes and interview other candidates. I'm really flattered and thrilled that you think I'm the best fit for your position because you've called me back for a second interview, maybe a third interview. Given all of that, I've been looking to figure out a fair level of compensation. So compensation, not base salary. A salary survey, salary.com, and I'm going to quote, says, a position for administrative assistant in this area is XYZ. So I would tell them, and they obviously know. Trust me, they know. I know what the salaries are from an HR. If you're sitting with an HR person in an interview, they know how much market rate is. So you want to say, listen, I want to work on a compensation package that's feasible for both of us. And so I definitely don't want to go backwards in my salary. I definitely want to make more money. And I want to hear what are the options. And you want to present your options. And number 5, I just want to reiterate that the importance of trying to get as much freebies as you possibly can during the negotiations. Not only your salary, think not base salary. Think when you negotiate to get the salary that you want and what you deserve. Think compensation package. Include your benefits. Include an additional or 2 additional weeks of vacation. When I've gone to and negotiated my salary in the past, I've actually said to them, you give 3 weeks of vacation. I do missions trips. I go out with my church. I do different activities. I need to leave early on Fridays, every Friday. And I negotiate all of that in there. And for me, the most important thing is flexibility. And so that's very important. That's something that they can't pay me for. I prefer a lot of flexibility over $5,000 a year, because if you take $5,000 and you divide it by 12 months, it's like pennies. So come on, you really don't fight over that $5,000. Finally, don't be afraid to ask. Okay, so do not be afraid to ask. I get a lot of people that call me, my friends who call me and ask me, they've been offered a job, and part of the job that they haven't been able to ask for the money. So don't be afraid. The worst thing that can happen is they can say, no, that's not going to work for us. And then say, okay, well, let's see what I can do. Let's see what we can do. Let's talk about your benefits package. There's a quote by Chester Carras that says, in business, as in life, you don't get what you deserve. You get what you negotiate. And John F. Kennedy has a great quote that I love very much. He says, let us never negotiate out of fear, but let us never fear to negotiate. So I just want to leave you guys with that. Like I said, I'll be doing Kenise's HR Corner and answering questions later on. And so my next show is going to be live show is going to be on Sunday, the following Sunday. And I'm going to be having probably a few people come in and talk to some of the young people that are watching these videos, to let them know about different careers and different opportunities. And again, I've received, between my video last Thursday and today, I've received about 72 different forms of feedback from different people. So I'm just going to move the time to Facebook live time to Sundays instead of Thursdays, because it might be easier for people to log on, because it's not really a working day for most people, at 9 p.m. So if you have any questions, feel free to message me on Facebook. And also I'll be putting up links on my Facebook page of all of these videos that I'm doing on YouTube. And when you go on YouTube, you obviously want to subscribe to my channel, Kenise's HR Corner channel. So I want to thank you guys so much. I think I'm just going to go through this and see. Thank you guys for joining. Damien saying, I wish my firm pay my Easy Pass. I wish all of them do, but maybe that's something you can negotiate, Damien. probably when you do your performance evaluation, is just to ask them that maybe if they could pay for your Easy Pass as part of your compensation package. So I think that's something that you could potentially ask for. But again, I hope you guys really enjoy this time, and I hope this was informative about how to negotiate and get the salary that you want and you deserve. I'm actually probably going to do another show in a couple of weeks about negotiating your salary during performance evaluations. I just helped 2 people this week. I spoke with them about their performance evaluations after I did the show last week. They wanted to know how to negotiate their salaries during a performance evaluation, their annual performance evaluation. So I want to say thank you guys so much for joining. I really appreciate it, and I hope this information is informative. If you have any other questions, you can feel free to Facebook message me, and I'll be more than happy to answer your questions for you. If you have a topic that you want me to cover, please also email me. I'll be more than happy to cover it for you. So have a wonderful evening. Thanks again for joining Kenise's HR Corner. Bye.